Okay, welcome back to Tech and 10. I'm here on my own today. This is Dublin Horse Show week, so why not cover equine gut health in under 10 minutes? Matthias, let's go. So, equine gut health and digestion, really interesting area. I find it fascinating. So, if we think about the horse, it's a herd species. So, we often think in time frames of 100 years or 200 years, but if we go back thousands and thousands of years, we look at horses, wild horses, they're herd species, herbivore, trickle feeders, hindgut fermenters. So when we think about digestion in the horse, we've obviously got the mouth, mastication, stomach, small intestine and large intestine, but they've developed this large fermentation vat, which is the hindgut, which ferments and breaks down plant material, turning it into volatile fatty acids, energy and protein. There's obviously other areas of digestion further up. Interesting observations I have made is a huge amount of attention on the stomach in the horse. The stomach makes up about 8% of the overall volume. A lot of talks about the different types of ulcers we see in stomachs, and I might come back to that again. But most 70% or 60+% of the energy of the horse is derived from hindgut fermentation. So that digestion is really key. We think about horses, whether it be race, performance, sport horses, even pleasure horses. Nutrition is really, really important. It drives that performance. We spend a lot of time, and rightly so, looking at the nutrition going in to drive the performance. We have to look at the herd species and behaviour piece when we think about trickle feeders. So fibre being very, very important, the quality of hay or haylage going in. When we put in a lot of concentrates, that's a challenge. We'll come back to that one again maybe. But ultimately, nutrition drives performance. But when we think about the gut microbes and the microbiome in the equine, there's trillions and trillions of microbes in the digestive tract, particularly all throughout the tract, but particularly when you get to the hindgut, that if we have an unhealthy hindgut, well, it's going to affect digestion. So nutrition in won't drive performance without absorption. So one of the things that is really interesting on the horse from a digestive perspective is a healthy functioning hindgut or microbiome is really, really key to drive overall performance. Now, there's obviously much more to that as well, because we know that 70% of the immune system is gut-based. And this is, for me, a really interesting area on the equine side, because not as much work done as other species, but we know that if we've got inflammation, we've got dysbiosis, which is a reduction of the good bugs or maybe the functionality and diversity in the gut, we can have inflammation in the gut. And that's probably more of an issue in horses than a lot of species because of the size of the digestive tract. Why is 70% of the immune system there? The physical size of the horse's digestive tract is so huge, and there's only a single layer of cells between digesta and all that immune function. So, and we also know the gut microbes are communicating with this immune system. So a healthy gut microbiome impacts overall immunity. But when we've got disruptions, we get inflammation. It can be low grade or chronic. And this is a really important issue for a lot of horses because stress has a big impact on the diversity of the bugs in the gut. It creates leakiness and all sorts of issues, and that can lead to gut inflammation. The problem is it can be quite hard to diagnose. So when we think about looking at assessing healthy gut microbiome, it's the same as assessing healthy nutrition, the coat, the condition, the behaviour of the horse. We can use diagnostics like scoping and all those types of things, but ultrasounds, blood tests, but there's no real definitive test for a happy or unhappy hindgut, some people talk about. So if we've got inflammation in the gut or a poor gut microbiome function, it impacts immune behaviour. One of the interesting areas we observe with Precision Microbes, with our product as a tool, aiding in digestion and supporting gut health, is people talk about the Precision Microbes shine, because the gut is directly linked to the skin through a number of factors. Digestion of nutrients leads to obviously those nutrients being utilized in the body, and skin is an area particularly where we have short chain fatty acids like acetate that will show up. So if coat is dull or poor, it may be an issue with nutrition in general, but it may be an issue with the gut microbiome. Another really interesting area in the horse that we've observed, and this is again from purely feedback from vets, customers, people using our products, particularly horses that are a little bit temperamental, that have had issues, that go on the product and seem to be a little bit calmer. And we're not doing anything directly for behavior, making no claims, but there is something in this area of gut inflammation and behavior, because like every animal species, we know that the brain and excuse my drawing, the brain and the gut are linked through the vagus nerve. So if we've got inflammation in the gut, there's a bidirectional pathway that influences behavior. And the equine, if we think about their abdomen, it's a huge amount of intra-abdominal pressure. If we get any kind of inflammation there, it's going to be uncomfortable. So these horses may be girty, they just might be a little bit stressy. And again, this all feeds back into stress, and which has this negative feedback loop again. So gut health and the gut microbiome function is really important. You have different things like colic. Again, colic is again a clinical symptom. You have gassy, spasmodic, or impaction, but very much chicken and egg. Is that leading to shifts in the microbiome, or are microbiome shifts leading to more risk with colic? And I would say definitely the second, that we see shifts in microbes up or down, probably predisposing to risk around colic. So mares at foaling time, etc., different times that you'll see it. There's other issues with laminitis, inflammation, and this whole area of where we have leaky gut. And this can be really a broad term. It's often used, probably bandied around a little bit, but that leakiness or that lowering of diversity and inflammation in the gut has such knock-on effects to overall metabolic health. So it is Horse Show week. We're there for the week this week. Please drop in. Precision Microbes have a very unique liquid complementary feed. It's designed to support hindgut function. What's interesting about hindgut function is I said I talk about the stomach and stomach ulcers, when there's a lot of work done on when you actually have an unhappy hindgut, there's a glycoprotein peptide that's released by the hindgut in healthy hindguts that regulates acid production. That's often feedback loop is gone. So you may see more stomach ulcers, particularly chronic ulcerated cases, that actually are primary hindgut issues. So our product supports hindgut function. It's very easy to use. It's very palatable. It's actually an organic product. It's safe for competition. So downstairs here in our production facility, every batch that produces is sent to the French lab and is certified safe to use. The dose rates, it's in feed, so it can be given in feed daily. And the dose rates generally for your average size horse is 100 mils daily in a once-off feed. With younger foals, you can go down as low as 50 mils daily. And with larger horses, with stallions or breeding animals, sometimes people go up to 150 mils. Times to use the product. It's really designed to optimize digestion, because ultimately there's always some stress in how we manage horses, whether it's race horses, performance horses. We've got transport, changing of diet, exercise routines. That stress does create an issue. So with more concentrated feeding and stress, we're having an impact on the gut microbes. Precision Microbes, a complementary feed designed to sort of optimize digestion and offset that. So any horses in competition, obviously any horses that are seeing digestive issues are poor condition, where condition is an issue and you've done your worming and you've done your checks with the vet. Any horses that have been prepped for sales, going through any sort of transition, maybe going out to grass, mares at foaling time, it's an extremely safe product. Some people are just feeding horses the product all year round. You want to start horses from, if it's competition horses or horses in work, 4 to 5 weeks out from work and training starting. Some people will stop the product when they're out of pasture, but most people will decide to continue to feed it, because even at grass there can be challenges. Changing diets will always change microbes. So that's a rough overview for the equine gut microbiome. Please call into us in the RDS if you're here this week. We're Justin Simmons Court Stand. We're happy to talk to customers. This is a game-changing product in the gut space, equine gut health. I'm going to just give you an overview. We'll cover more in Tech and 10 in detail, but the big things are nutrition, driving performance, and that absorption of the gut. Digestion is key. The role of immune function, the impact of inflammation from an unhappy gut or dysbiosis. Using microbes, Precision Microbes Equine complementary feed as an aid to digestion is a game changer. Check out the website as well for all those equine people talking about the success, both vet and customers. Thank you very much for listening.